Good evening. It is Sunday night, and we are here for Yellowjackets episode 3, The Dollhouse. I am Anchor Pete, and I'm with my wife, Shari T. How you doing tonight, Shari?
I'm swell. How are you?
I mean, I don't know why I'm asking you how you're doing. We usually do these for like other shows where I interview people, but I've been with you like all Thanksgiving, all day, so I know how you're doing.
All week long.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm asking you how you're doing. It's just a force of habit. But
it's polite. That's okay.
Okay. Did you enjoy episode 3 of the show?
Yes. I think it was kind of a slower episode than the other two. However, they are building things.
Yeah. And we're going to discuss those things. I want to just point out that it's going to be spoiler central from here on out for episode 3 and the previous 2 episodes. We really appreciate you guys who have been commenting. And this show obviously has a buzz. And just to point out, too, I'm hoping that this does not have a buzz. We had some sound issues last episode, but I tested it. I think we're good to go. So, with that being said, Shari, this episode seemed like it was about Taissa. She was like the main focus, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, is this show really giving you strong Lost vibes?
It has some similarities.
For me, it feels like Lost when they started to do the flash forwards. Like when they would be on the island, but then they would flash to like they're rescued and this is what their lives are like now.
Right. We have flashbacks and flash forwards and the present. And this episode actually had a flashback and then an even further flashback with Taissa's character to when she was a little girl to when she's like stranded on whatever in the wilderness. Where I'm still not.
They're in like the Rockies. I'm sure someone will point out in the comments.
Yeah, someone let us know. And I feel like I did read it and I can't remember what it was. I thought it was Canada maybe or something. But
no, they're in the US.
Okay. Anyway, so they had the flashback to when she was a child, the flashback to her, well, all of them lost in the wilderness. And then of course her present day, which had some very creepy things going on with her child, who apparently has maybe inherited her grandmother's sixth sense.
Yeah, well, that was what I was going to make for the thumbnail. I was like, is this starting to become a supernatural show?
There's an element of supernatural, I think.
You think so? There's going to be more to it?
Yes.
Well, I definitely think that it is going to be more than what it originally was. But I'm not sure if it's going to be supernatural stuff. Like, you could kind of write off that maybe a person has mental illness versus like they're psychic, right? I don't think we're gonna necessarily have supernatural stuff. I was trying to think of like all the Showtime shows that I've watched, and pretty much all of them have been like thrillers and stuff. There's not usually a lot of supernatural going on, with the exception of Penny Dreadful, right? Like that one is, supernatural up the wazoo. But I think Showtime for the most part has stuff that's grounded in reality. And I think that this show is gonna stay grounded in reality. I mean, you might think otherwise, though.
Yeah, what about the character Lottie, who's saying she thinks something bad happened in this house and she doesn't want to go in? She does go in and apparently goes and finds the dead body up in the attic because she kind of knew it. She had psychic ability.
Yeah, but I mean, she's also the one that's taken pretty strong meds, right?
Who cares?
Okay.
Do the meds give her the ability, or does she already have the ability and the meds are to help like kind of control it?
I just think that maybe she has mental illness. And I think that like what we saw Taissa as a little girl, it might have been that she just kind of was like swayed by her grandmother and she saw that guy in the mirror. But we don't know, right? We're only in episode 3 of the show and it could go any way.
I think it's going to where some of the characters have some psychic ability.
Yeah.
Not many. I think her son, Taissa's son Sammy does, and her grandmother did. And I think the character Lottie does. That's it. I don't think it's going to be everything in the show, but I think it's going to be something in the show.
Yeah. Well, there are certainly like a lot of mysteries that we have to unpack. And one question that I really want to research and find out the answer to is this show just one season or are they going to make it multiple seasons? Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. I know it's 10 episodes.
Okay.
And this episode 3, we got an opening credit scene.
Yeah.
Which we didn't have the past 2 episodes. What did you think of it?
I thought that it was like of the time. It's probably a song from the 90s. And if not, then it was made it sound like it's from the 90s. Kind of fit with all the other music. The visuals weren't super impressive, I didn't think.
Do you think they were of the 90s style?
Yeah, that's what it felt like. But I think we're kind of spoiled by opening credit sequences, right? Like even like we watched Succession, right? And that doesn't have any kind of fancy CGI or anything, but it's just so cool and well done, right? Like Penny Dreadful, we just mentioned that had one of the best opening sequences, right?
Yeah.
This one I felt like was just very kind of generic.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I didn't love the opening credits, although opening credits often grow on me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't like them at first, and then by the time I've watched, you know, the 8th episode, I love it. So we'll see. It was a little too staticky and jarring for me.
Yeah.
Choppy, maybe.
Yeah.
Although I kind of want to go back and watch it because I feel like they gave you all these little glimpses into the show and little like flashes of things we haven't seen before or that maybe are coming.
Right.
So I'm probably going to rewatch it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you can probably find it on YouTube eventually. That was kind of a shocker tonight. You know, they just usually say Yellowjackets and then that's it. But you know what? There's opening credits, which makes me think that this might be more than one season. They might be going for more. And what I'm worried about is that they're going to solve a lot of mysteries after the crash. And that, like, if there's a season 2, then they might have to kind of, like, make up shit. Versus, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would really like it if there's still a lot of mysteries left after the plane crash by the end of this season, if it's going to be 2 seasons.
If it's going to be 2 seasons, but I personally would like things to be resolved.
Yeah, it'd be cool if it was just like 1 season and it's done.
Yeah.
Right? I would like that, right?
That's what I thought it was going to be.
There's a lot of like premiere shows where that's the case, right? Like Mayor of Easttown, which we reviewed, you know, like 1 and done. That's good, right? Yeah.
I mean, this is about a specific incident. I don't know how much like they can get out of that, how much they can squeeze from that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the episode? Like, I want to talk about the title, the Dollhouse.
Okay.
And we were thinking maybe the title. We weren't sure why it's called the Dollhouse, and I'd love to hear thoughts. But we were thinking it's the dollhouse of the mind, kind of, because Taissa has the scene where she is going down in the basement in the present. When she's a teenager, she's going up in the attic. And also as a child, she's going into the funeral home. So it's like the up, the middle, and the down of her mind, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought was really kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, that was well done.
And to call it a dollhouse, like I just really like that imagery. So
yeah.
If that, I mean, hoping that's why it's called the Dollhouse.
Yeah, and there was other doll imagery in that, even in that sequence itself, right? Her son has a doll. He's kind of a creepy doll to begin with.
That's a creepy doll,
right?
Mary, yeah.
And as they're cutting between these, you know, parallel sequences, you see she finds one of his eyes, and it's kind of jarring, right? But then it cuts back to her being a little girl going to her grandmother's funeral, and then she opens up the grandmother's eyes, and that's one of those replacement eyes, right? If someone is buried, like a glass eye.
I think what was important is what she took away is that there weren't eyes there.
Right.
And the grandmother said he's coming to take my eyes right before she died. So I think that probably made a huge impression. Like you said, it could be nothing.
Right.
But it made an impression on her.
Yeah, and that image in the mirror that the grandmother saw and that she kind of seemed like she saw too, that was pretty creepy, don't you think?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I saw though. I was like, what was that?
It was like a man's face, but like kind of like a husk almost. Like there was just like a mask and no eyes. Kind of like Michael Myers, sort of.
Yeah, okay,
you know,
okay.
Seen that. And that's pretty jarring. That's why before I was kind of talking about, well, is there going to be more? Because like, if they do supernatural shit, I could see it being more seasons, right? They could kind of grow. But if it's just like, this is just a mystery about the plane crash, then it's just going to be 1 season, right? And one other thing that makes me think it could be something bigger is all that stuff with that guy, Adam. Oh, can we jump into that real quick?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fucking weird that, like...
What guy, Adam?
The guy that's, like, the mechanic that...
Oh, okay.
Right? So, just to kind of get us all on the same page.
So, Shauna's character.
Yeah, Shauna, she goes to find out what is going on with her husband and this woman, Bianca. She goes to the hotel. Well, she follows him, right? She tails him.
She does a little sleuthing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just a little side note about that, too. I thought that was kind of funny that she's tailing them in their minivan, right? Their family's minivan.
Right.
Like,
he was really, like, hung up on what he wouldn't notice. She's behind him.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't pay any attention to the cars behind me. I'm looking at the road ahead of me. Maybe if I was doing something suspect, maybe I'd pay a little attention, but I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that he's not paying attention. He wants to go get his booty.
I don't know, Shari. If I was driving my car to go to my little rendezvous and I saw your car in the rearview mirror, I think I would, like shoot a brick.
Yeah, but he wasn't looking.
He's cool. He's like, this woman's a sucker. She's not going to know about it.
I guess so.
Yeah. So she goes to the hotel and she tries to get access to his room or find out what room he's in. And she's just fumbling. She's trying to claim that she's from Homeland Security. And then that guy, Adam, just randomly shows up. Right?
Yeah. And don't you think it's not random?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's not random. He says some sort of like throwaway line of like, I just go where fate takes me. But it's like, come on, that dude's clearly there for something.
Well, he said he was there for a drink.
Right. He said that, but it's like, I mean, we have actually gone to a hotel bar just to get a drink sometimes.
Yeah, it depends what's in your vicinity. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility. It's more that he ended up where she was at the same time. Another meet cute kind of situation. And he probably did some following himself, right? Followed her there.
So that makes me think that in the first time we saw him, he did stop the car. Maybe he didn't have taillights or, and he did stop the car intentionally.
Yeah.
She crashed into him. And then
it's a setup.
Yeah.
It's a setup. And also why is a guy like him after a guy like her,
Yes, or a woman like her, yeah.
Right. Yes. I mean, he's a good looking single guy. Couldn't he just pick a single woman, not go for someone who just hit his car, who's married?
He's pretty suave and charming.
Yeah, no, I think it's a setup. I'm not sure who's doing it. We did find out that Taissa is responsible for a setup this episode, right? She hired the reporter, who's not really a reporter, to go around kind of testing all the girls to see if they're going to spill the beans, which I'm really glad they added that, because I was thinking, how is Taissa running for, what is she running for? Senator? How is she running for a position in politics with this kind of background? She needs to have an airtight. Yeah. She needs to make sure no secrets are going to spill. So I'm glad they showed her that she's in charge of this reporter's job. Has given her this job to go out and try to suss out anybody who might spill the beans. So I'm glad they did that, because I didn't think it made sense that she would be so careless.
Yeah, and she's clearly more of a mastermind than the show lets on, right? Because besides hiring that woman, you saw that she also paid for Natalie to go to rehab too, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
She's
we found out. Yeah, she's got her
scene stuff.
Right, and also the first episode, it is Shauna, the Melanie Linsky character, who met up with her to tell her about the reporter. So she's in touch with several of these girls that we know of so far.
That goes to a thing that I've kind of talked about in these reviews, where I talked about that there's sort of this rift between her and then the captain of the team, Jackie, and
we have we haven't mentioned she is the girl in the poster for Yellowjackets.
That's what we're thinking. Yeah.
I'm not thinking it. I can tell it's her.
Okay. Well, yeah, Jackie. So she's gonna have this significant role. To me, just that kind of that lost thing that I keep harkening back to. It's kind of like Jack and Locke, right? How it's like the two of them are always kind of trying to say who's right and who should lead the tribe.
They have different philosophies in Lost. I mean, I don't know that it's going to be that deep with the philosophies. Lost is a very philosophical show.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be that deep, but I do see that Taissa and Jackie might butt heads.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm just kind of curious to see where it all ends up going, right? Because you're right. It maybe is not that deep a show, but there was one point when Shauna and that guy Adam were in the bar and they started quoting something, right? And they both quoted something together. I don't know. I think there might be some depth there.
Yeah. I don't mean that there's no depth. I'm just saying I just thought Lost was extremely philosophical.
Yeah, that's true. Metaphorical too, right?
Yeah. And I don't know that many shows go there. It doesn't mean they're not good.
Yeah.
And I do think this is a good show. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think we also should talk about, the little road trip between Misty and Natalie.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I don't know why Natalie is even letting Misty ride around with her. She found out that Misty, pulled the thing out of her car.
Yeah.
Which we suspected already. And I don't know why she's just kind of entertaining and letting her go along with her. And I don't know why Misty wants to go. Don't you think that's strange?
Well, based on what we've seen so far, it seems like she is kind of a very desperate character. They showed her on a date with a guy. She seemed pretty pathetic. And when they showed her in the past when she's a high school student, she seemed kind of pathetic and she really wanted to be a part of the team. She really wanted to be loved. So I think she's just real desperate to go.
She just wants to hang out. She has nothing better to do.
Well, yeah. Her life is kind of dull and void. She actually had this one great line in this episode where she said that as far as like picking men or like dating men right now at their age. She said the men were like crumbs at the bottom of a chip bag.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great line.
Mm.
You know, because it's just like she can't get with a man. You know, even when she's taking care of that coach as a teenager.
Yeah, she clearly has a crush on the coach whose leg she chopped off.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it could be explained with desperation that she's going around like that. But that might just be like what they're showing us now, and then like later down the road, you might find she's like sort of working for somebody. Or,
yeah. I think that might be coming because it's suspicious what happened here.
Yeah.
They break into Travis's house.
Mm-hmm.
She finds his note that he left, right?
Yeah.
She finds his hanging dead body, which had to happen pretty recently before they arrived, don't you think?
Right.
I mean, it's nighttime. What's he doing there at the place where he works?
Right. And so she didn't kill him, right? Because she was in the jail with.
Right. She could be
Natalie.
working with someone
Somebody
saying, we're
did kill him.
coming or something. Because the timing's like too perfect.
Yeah. And that was actually one thing that I was kind of confused about too. Like when they went to the location, which looked like some kind of like stable or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do they know to go there? Just Juliette Lewis is just like.
This is another thing that's suspicious about Misty. She went in the trash and found his pay stub.
Oh.
Saying where he worked. So I'm just saying.
Oh, that was where he worked?
Yeah. So I'm just saying she had a hand in all of that.
I see.
She had a hand in his last note. Why
Yeah.
didn't she show Natalie when she found it? You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
suspicious. It's
Yeah.
almost like to put guilt on Natalie.
Yeah.
Which maybe it has nothing to do with Natalie. Natalie thinks he's murdered. So, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so all that's not sitting right with me. I think there's more to it than that.
Oh, yeah.
With Misty.
She's definitely clearly manipulative. Remember, she calls that guy that was interested in Natalie too, and she pretended to be Natalie.
Yeah.
That guy Kevin. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why Natalie's putting up with her. She's doing so many shady things.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll find out. We got what you said. There's 10 episodes altogether, so
There's
we're only
10.
up to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So much more to go. I think there's a lot to unpack with the crash. You know, the time when they're trying to survive and stuff too.
Yeah, a lot's going to happen.
Right, but they had to do a vote, right? That was where there was that rift once again, right? And so the one girl wanted to stay back by the wreckage, and then Jackie wanted, and then Taissa wanted to go towards the lake, which she found, right?
Mm-hmm. And which I think is the smart thing. They're going to need water.
Yeah. And then they find this cabin, and I think the one thing that's real interesting is they find that bear that's just like dead in the middle of the woods, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder what's that all about too.
Right. Just again, could be explained as just I don't know, natural causes or some, like you said, a wolf killed it, but it could be more.
Yeah.
This show is full of or this episode at least is full of it could be something kind of innocent or it could be more. Yeah. So the writers are probably having a good time kind of playing with the viewers here. Yeah. Making us think maybe it's this or maybe it's nothing, you know? But again, we'll see.
And then did they leave any kind of clue as to why that body, how that person had died in the attic?
No, I think that's the last scene we saw of them in that time period.
Okay.
So that's probably what the next episode is going to address, is trying to figure out, what happened to that person and why they're up there. Were they frozen, had a frozen scream?
I mean, it looked like it. I don't know. Yeah,
it's creepy, man.
Yeah, I knew that there was going to be missing eyes when she was going to look, but it was obviously missing eyes because it's just like a skull.
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah. What do you think happened to Sammy's doll broken down in the basement? That was to me, that was almost the creepiest thing.
Yeah, right? Because he was sent to his room. You don't think that he went and did that, right? Because the mom put the doll up high. So I don't know who broke it. That is creepy.
Well, in the previous episode, he said there's a woman outside of his window.
Yeah. And he said, the bad woman, right? I do have a theory then based on that, right? Because he said something along the lines of, why don't people like you or something? Or why do people think you're bad? Because they're trying to besmirch her identity or whatever, her political identity, right? And so he said, is it someone else the bad one, right? And so maybe she kind of does this thing where she kind of switches in and off. Maybe she's the one that broke the doll.
Ooh, you know what I'm saying? That's really good. And she's like, do you think I'm bad? I'm not like that. And he's like, yeah, I know it's not you. But then she questioned him. She said, is there a bad one?
Yeah, right.
And he said no.
Oh.
He said no, but I like what you're saying, because I was thinking, who broke the doll down in the basement? it had to be her or her partner.
Yeah, there was this one part when she was at the playground where, you know, he had hit this other kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she went and talked to her wife about it. And it almost seemed like she was trying to manipulate her. Like she was saying like, oh, he said the other kid said cannonball and like cannibal, which was in the ad.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed real fake the way she was setting it up. I don't know if she was like trying to manipulate her wife there.
Mm.
But I think that
I didn't get that, but
yeah. I guess literally the other kid said his mom was.
I thought she was explaining why her kid hit him.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. Just she's obviously very cunning, and you know, I think eventually just takes over the whole group, right? So
We'll see. I don't think she's evil though. I don't think she'd say that person's against me. Let's eat him.
yeah. Well, the cannibalism stuff, I don't know how they're going to get to that, honestly.
I think it's going to be not that they're starving so much as that they're making use of an enemy.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Unless did you have anything else you wanted to add or
No
other points? Okay, yeah.
No.
So yeah, anyway, we're really enjoying your comments. You know, you guys are picking up on a lot of stuff that, you know, we haven't seen or talked about. And it's just great to be part of that dialogue. So,
I have one more
Jesus.
thing. I have one more thing because I was thinking about Jackie and how we haven't seen an adult Jackie, and you were speculating she's dead.
Yeah.
And the last time we talked about this, the last episode, I was like, what if she's the one sending the postcards, right?
Right.
I still think there's like that's a possibility that she was wronged somehow by the group, and that they think she's dead, but she's not.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for who's behind, like sending the postcards. Maybe who's behind the setup with Shauna and Adam.
Yeah.
Who's possibly behind, you know, Travis being hung if it's murder. Who's maybe working with Misty. And I guess what, if it's true that Jackie's still alive and has something to do with all this, I'm kind of excited to see what actress they're going to have play her. Because they have kind of good, you know, they have some names playing all the modern day actresses. So I'd love to see who they get. That's all I wanted to say.
If she is the one that's doing that in the present, then maybe that guy Adam, she's trying to like set up Shauna.
She's trying to ruin Shauna's life.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if she's mad at them, like if they did something to her in the woods, like left her to die or something, she is the poster girl, right?
Right.
With blood coming out of her nose.
Uh-oh.
If they did something like that, she's in it for revenge.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Someone kind of said something like that in the comments one time.
I know.
So yeah, like, what do you guys think after watching this episode? Do you think there's supernatural shit going on? Do you think it's mental illness? What do you guys think? What else do you want to learn about from this show? So let us know in the comments, and we will see you guys.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, and if you haven't liked and subscribed, you know, that would also help. We'd like that. And so we will see you guys next Sunday night.
Good night.